Hi dear Geminis, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for June 2016. And so your energy, Mercury is going to be in Taurus until about the 12th. Anytime that Mercury is in Taurus, you are taking a look at your needs and wants, but this is on a very, very deep level. A lot of this stuff is thinking behind the scenes. You are doing a lot of interpreting things. You're comparing it to the past. You're taking a look at what you're going through right now. This is stuff that you don't ever always let everybody else in on. This is something that's your own personal journey. I believe that from the 12th to the end of the month, Mercury is in Gemini. This will feel much more like yourself. When Mercury goes into Gemini, it's in its home energy. You're feeling a little bit more resilient. You deeply identify with some of the choices you're making. I think that you feel like your old self. You don't feel so depleted or tired or overwhelmed with everything that's been thrown at you. I believe that you're going to be able to articulate and interpret everything much more effectively. You're going to just feel back to your old self. After last month was quite a crazy month for you. So I like to go through all of the energies that impact us, that have some sort of consistent, like they stick around for a few days, and you have a lot of energy going on, kind of making you, influencing you. So from the 1st through the 7th, Mercury in Taurus is going to be in a grand Earth trine. So what you're wanting is, what you deeply value is mentally some peace. You are overwhelmed. There's a lot going on internally, and you need something that makes you feel at peace. It needs to be an easy flow of energy for you. You cannot make big decisions right now because there's just not enough consistency for you to invest into any one thing. I think that the 1st through the 15th, Mercury in Taurus, which is going to switch into Gemini, is going to oppose Mars in Scorpio. There's going to be an intense situation regarding habitual mindsets, patterns that no longer serve you. This isn't a difficult conversation. This is a conversation about balance, about perspective, about taking a look at the past, identifying what you no longer desire from it, and understanding it for what it is. You've learned the lesson. I think for many of you, you deeply know and feel compelled to make some very significant decisions, although I think you don't necessarily feel like it's the right time for that. I think when the energy moves into Gemini, I think you're going to find that it gets a lot easier for you to identify what you want, on a day-to-day basis, on what you need and want. And this has to do everything with how you think every day. I think you're just going to feel like your old self, so you're going to think clear. You're going to feel like, I'm not being influenced, I'm not being impacted. It's me. I know what I want. I don't need anybody telling me. I think from the 2nd until the 12th, Mercury in Mercury in Taurus, which is going to switch into Gemini, is going to have a gorgeous conversation with Chiron. This is about healing. It's a time of healing. That 2nd through the 12th, it's all about enjoying the Earth trine. It's some ease and energy. Your energy is going to drop into your ruler is going to enjoy its own energy. There's just a time of not feeling like the entire world is a burden. Everything that you've done in the past is being scrutinized. Like, you just don't feel that way anymore. I believe that from the 14th to the 25th, Mercury in Gemini is going to have some opposition with Saturn. This has to do with a relationship. It has to do with past relationships, past ways that you could not open your mind and look at different perspectives, perhaps. So like when a relationship brought something to you, it could have been something that you just refused to see because in your mind you couldn't interpret what they were saying, because maybe what they were saying was an elevated perspective and maybe what you see it as is still this very superficial perspective. of like, these are the facts, this is cut and chase. There may be a difficult, this is an opposition, it's not a square. It's an adjustment period with Saturn. Saturn wants you to adjust your thinking, but it's not slamming your ass. So that's kind of nice. I think from the 16th through the 27th, Mercury in Gemini is going to square off with Jupiter. Again, I believe what you need to do is just always think about moving forward. This isn't about the past. The past does not define you. I believe that you were stuck in so much reflective energy with 5 planets, including your ruler. And then, of course, you had all of this 12th house work that you were doing. There was just so much guilt, so much remorse, so much loaded on you that I think that the moving forward is not something that you're really, really energetically prepared for, because it's just, God, you just went through a pretty intense time. You went through a lot of realizations. You went through a lot of, thinking about things on a different level. And so I think what you're trying to do is kind of hold energy right where it is. You're trying to just keep it very superficial, but the energy from the 22nd to the end, of course, is going to be squaring off with Chiron. Chiron is actually going to go retrograde. So again, if you're not learning, if you are refusing to see, if there is a path that you are still, a past perspective that you still choose in your life, and it's detrimental, it just keeps reopening the same karmic wounds over and over again, you're going to square off in that energy, and you're going to find it difficult, because what you want is some superficial resolution to something that's bigger than that. Something that is fated for you to be thinking about at this level. I mean, that's why you went through all that past reflective energy, was to really honestly open your eyes. I believe that from the 24th to the 29th, Mercury in Gemini is going to have a gorgeous conversation with Uranus. This is about, look, one of the best things about a Gemini, and I think one of the things that they excel at better than any other sign, is that in the midst of sadness, in the midst of no hope, there's still some possibility in their head to have some sort of harmonious resolution. Like, there's still a possibility. There's still some rationality. There's still some logical perspective that you can turn this around. You can make it an optimistic outcome. And so I believe that for some of you, you deeply identify with a hope or a dream or a wish, or you deeply identify with who you are and this optimistic outlook. And so and I know that it can be difficult and the odds may be stacked against you externally, but for you internally, you just see it as a challenge that you can beat if you're in a really high vibration. Now, on the 4th, we have your new moon. This new moon is a beautiful new moon. You are very well aspected. You have a glorious, absolutely lovely Earth trine, and your ruler is involved in this Earth trine. So this is about easing. There's an ease. There's a release. There's a lightening up in the energy, I think, for you. I believe that this has everything to do with just, you know what you need to do. And you have and that you're going to easily attract situations that support what you need to do, right? I mean, of course, we can oppose it, and there is that opposition that's in this energy where you can do habitual patterns that intensifies this need to move forward. But initially, the ease and energy, because you prefer ease, you prefer even though you're a dramatic energy, you prefer it to be dramatic fun, not dramatic drama. So for you, if you're feeling an intensity, well, you just would rather go over where it feels good. And so I think that the energy is going to inspire you to do that. I think on the 12th, Mercury moves into Gemini. This will feel amazing. I think this is a very fated time for you. I believe that when Mercury goes into Gemini, I believe that you are going to start to know, you're going to start to understand the path that you need to embark upon. There's a direction. You can see it. Of course, you are somebody that has, I mean, you're a creature of will. So if you don't walk on the path, then you're probably going to have an opposition at some point. And it's going to have something to do with a routine or a ritual or a mindset, or somebody's going to point something out that may make you see that if you go on that new karmic path, you get to heal, you get to have a good energy, you get to have good things. And since you're a light, I believe that, you have the dark twin and you have the light twin. I believe the light twin is just like, the dark twin's always trying to keep the light twin like in perspective. The light twin's like, look, the light. It's kind of like, in Up, the movie, where the dog is like, bull, like, like he had this obligation, but he was like sparkly ball. Like, that's what I think that sometimes Geminis get like. And the dark twin's over here going, oh, wait a minute. Oh, we ran after that ball once before, and there was a giant big ass dog right over there. So let's not go after that dog. But then the light twin's like, but I want to go over there. Like, so you could have that, you know what I'm saying, type of a response to when Mercury goes into Gemini, because of course there's the duality. But I believe that there is a gorgeous, harmonious solution and some deep healing that could come from that transit for you. Then I believe on the 20th, there's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius. This is the second full moon. This is the accumulative full moon. We had a full moon in May in Sagittarius. Now this is our second one. And then the sun moves into Cancer. So for you, when the sun moves into Cancer, this is like, ugh, I got to get serious. And so you're going to go into what's called the Mutable Grand Cross in this energy. And I believe that you will be guided to make a choice by a partner that puts you in the right direction, puts you on the positive fated journey that you were supposed to go on. So for some of you, you may stray, and then some of you may get put back on track with a partner, either a partner from your past or it's going to be a past situation comes up in a relationship that you care a lot about. This is a relationship you see moving forward, but it's an accumulative. It's the ending. It's a tough conversation. It's a tough conversation because this will pull you in many different directions that you need to reconsider, because perhaps your fated path has something to do with a past relationship or a repetitive cycle that you do. Like, you do it in every relationship. And so the clarity is stop doing it and identify with moving forward. Use some logic, use some reason. Come on, like, this keeps coming up in your life. You have something to do with it. The cumulative energy in this full moon is a pattern that's been going on for a very long time. It's a repetitive cycle. It could go back generationally. It could go back to family. It could go back to, it's a very indulgent energy, so you're going to want to indulge, and I believe that a partner's going to have a tough conversation about controlling something that maybe at that point you don't want to control, but there is enough energy out there pulling you in different directions to make you consider ending some of these cycles that no longer serve you. And then from the 17th to the 25th, we have our second Mutable Grand Cross over the month and of the month. And so this will be, your ruler will be directly involved in this, and it will be having this difficult conversation with a partner about moving forward, it's going to be regarding home and family. It's going to be about correcting the way that you've always done things, correcting the path, the journey that you're going on. It's about setting up rituals and routines in the household that support longevity, that support consistency, that support stability. And I believe that for some of you, this could feel a little bit closed in, as you know, but you have the sensitive sun in Cancer. There's a lot of sensitivities going on, which can make you hyper reactive to situations that probably aren't as reactive. But because you have your ruler, which is in Gemini, drop into Cancer, I just believe that a lot of hypersensitivities come up. It can be very overwhelming to face some of these karmic cycles that you've been on, to face these rituals and routines and mindsets, these generational things for some of you. It's a tough conversation toward the end of the month. It is to readjust the way that you do things. It's to get some control over your life, your destiny. your karmic past is to make you get off the wheel, you know, and not stay on a wheel that no longer serves you anymore. And we're not about reinventing the wheel. We're about thinking up new concepts. Sagittarius is all about adventuring onto a new mindset, a new belief system. It's all about the freedom of thought and the broadening of your knowledge about all of these areas. I mean, this is really going to open you up to a different level. It's not going to be all about immediate wants. It's about very big consequences for some of your actions if you make choices that make you that where you continue to be that hamster on the wheel. Like there's a big consequence, you know. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again next month.